Okay, so you want to buy a nightclub. Find a building, hire a DJ, mark up the vodka 800%, watch the money pour. But here's the strange part. A nightclub sells the most profitable legal product in the consumer economy. A bottle of alcohol that costs $22 wholesale and retires on your menu at $800 and still manages to be one of the fastest failing businesses in the entire hospitality industry. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how that's possible, how nightclubs actually make their money on the inside, why having the highest gross margin of any legal consumer product still isn't enough to keep the lights on past year 3, and why a nightclub is almost never the business most people think it is. Nightclubs come in 3 sizes, and they are 3 completely different businesses. A small regional club in a mid-size American city costs between $200,000 and $800,000 to open. For that, you get a sound system, a liquor license you prayed came with the building, a bar that smells like the previous owner's last bad decision, and a Friday night crowd that disappears the moment a competitor opens 6 blocks away. A mid-size urban venue runs you $2 to $8 million. Think Marquee, New York, opened in 2003 on West 26th Street for roughly $3 million, which promptly became the most talked about door in Manhattan and generated annual revenues that made the construction cost look like a rounding error. Real DJ bookings, real velvet rope, real customers flying in from other cities specifically for a Saturday night. And then there is the top tier, where the investment stops resembling a nightlife business and starts resembling a real estate play with a sound system attached. Hakkasan Las Vegas opened inside the MGM Grand in 2013 following a reported build-out exceeding $80 million across 80,000 square feet of engineered luxury with a DJ lineup that read like a Forbes list and a table reservation system that filled 6 weeks in advance. But the build is just the beginning. 2 costs nobody warns you about. The first is the liquor license. In New York City, a full on-premise liquor license costs $4,400 just to apply, but the actual process takes 6 to 18 months, requires community board approval, and in practice demands a specialized licensing attorney charging $15,000 to $50,000 simply to navigate. In Chicago, the city controls the number of late-night liquor licenses so tightly that buying an existing license on the secondary market can cost $300,000 to $500,000 before you have purchased a single bottle or signed a single lease. You are not buying the right to sell alcohol. You are buying the right to apply for the right to sell alcohol in a process designed by people who have never worked a Saturday night. The second cost is sound compliance. A nightclub running 110 decibels inside a mixed-use urban building is not a music problem, it is an engineering problem. Acoustic isolation panels, floating floor systems, and industrial sound baffling can consume $200,000 to $800,000 on a mid-size venue, and a single noise complaint upheld by the city can trigger a municipal sound audit that closes your doors for weeks while the lease keeps running and the DJ deposit sits non-refundable in an escrow account. So, where does the money actually come from? Every nightclub is built around one mechanism the industry understands completely and almost never explains publicly. Call it the pre-revenue machine, the table minimum. Easiest way to picture it. Imagine you own a restaurant. A table of 4 sits down, they order, they eat, they drink. You collect when they're done. Their decision about how much to spend stays entirely in their hands until the moment the check arrives. Now change one rule. Before they sit, before the kitchen opens, before the bartender pours a single drink, they hand you $2,000. Not as a deposit, not as a security hold, as a minimum. The table is theirs for the evening, but the $2,000 is yours the moment they sign the reservation confirmation. Whether they enjoy the night or not, whether they ever come back or not, whether the DJ shows up or not, that $2,000 exists the second the reservation is confirmed. That is the VIP table minimum, and it is the most powerful pre-collection mechanism operating in the entire hospitality industry. The bottle comes later, the money came first. This is why, inside the revenue architecture of every serious nightclub, the single most protected number is not nightly attendance. It is not bar revenue per head. It is table minimum pre-collection as a percentage of total projected revenue, calculated weeks before the night happens. A club with 40 VIP tables at a $1,500 average minimum running 4 nights per week has already collected $240,000 before the DJ arrives at soundcheck, before the ice is ordered, before the security team clocks in, before a single customer stands in line. That number exists whether it snows, whether a competing venue opens, whether the headline act cancels and gets replaced by someone nobody requested. The table minimum doesn't care about any of that. It already cleared. Now, the architecture. You have been inside a nightclub. Think about where everything is positioned. The VIP section is never hidden, it's never tucked in the back, it sits at the precise elevation above the general admission floor where its occupants can be seen by every person standing below, not for the comfort of the VIP guests, but because the visible spectacle of those bottle service tables is the single most effective advertisement the club runs all night at zero additional cost on a loop. The general admission floor is deliberately sized below the venue's legal fire capacity, creating a density that reads as energy and exclusivity to the person who just waited 40 minutes in line, when in fact it is an engineered compression tool. The bar is never placed near the entrance because a customer who gets a drink immediately feels satisfied and slows their spending. The bar is always at the far end, always through the crowd, always requiring navigation past every table section, every cocktail server, and every upcharge opportunity the floor contains. The industry has a term for this layout philosophy. Call it the friction path, and every step of friction between the door and the drink is a deliberate moment of exposure to something more expensive than what the customer originally planned to buy. And then there is the most sophisticated customer acquisition system in the nightlife industry, the promoter network. When a serious nightclub opens, it does not buy billboards, it does not run television commercials. It builds a network of independent promoters, individuals paid a per-head bounty of $5 to $15 per person they deliver through the door to fill the venue with exactly the right demographic on exactly the right nights. The promoter absorbs the entire marketing cost, assumes the entire relationship risk with the customer, and delivers a pre-curated crowd that makes the venue look precisely as full and precisely as attractive as the ownership needs it to appear. From that nightly traffic data, the club calculates something the industry calls floor yield, total revenue divided by total bodies on the floor, and every programming and pricing decision for the following week is built directly against that number. The promoter doesn't appear on the payroll. The promoter does not receive benefits or employment protections. The promoter is the club's entire outsourced sales force, working on pure commission at zero fixed labor cost with zero legal employment liability attached. The bottle sells the bottle. The promoter fills the room. The room is what makes the bottle worth $800.
So here is the whole revenue model in one sentence. Table minimum multiplied by table count, multiplied by nights per week, multiplied by bottle markup. And every square foot of that venue exists to maximize one of those four numbers. So with all of this, pre-collected table minimums, a liquor markup of 3,000%, a marketing network that costs nothing unless it delivers, customers who paid before the music started, why do nightclubs fail at the rate they do? And they fail constantly, publicly, expensively, sometimes within months of a celebrated opening. Two mistakes show up across nearly every nightclub collapse in modern history, and almost every famous closure traces back to one of them. Mistake 1. Betting the business on a name that doesn't sign a contract. In 2005, New York promoter Noel Ashman opened Kane on West 27th Street, a $4 million boutique club built entirely around a celebrity guest list and a velvet rope mystique that made getting inside feel like a personal achievement. For 2 years, it was the most requested door in Manhattan. Then the celebrities found the next new room. The guest list evaporated in a single season. The general admission crowd that replaced them didn't spend at table minimum rates. Revenue declined 40% in 12 months, closed within 36 months of opening. The name that built the business became the exact reason the business could not survive its own celebrity wearing off. If your entire revenue thesis requires specific people to keep choosing your room over every other option in the city, you have not built a business. You have built a reputation with a lease attached to it. Mistake 2. Opening in a neighborhood that has already decided it doesn't want you. In 2018, a redevelopment of the legendary original Limelight space in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood attempted to relaunch late-night club operations inside a building that had housed one of the most notorious clubs in New York history. The zoning technically permitted it. The surrounding neighborhood in 2018 did not resemble the surrounding neighborhood in 1995. The residential density, the community board infrastructure, and the organized opposition from property owners who had spent a decade watching Chelsea gentrify were simply incompatible with 2 in the morning operations in ways that no amount of acoustic engineering or legal maneuvering could neutralize. They had the license, they had the space, they did not have the block. Closed inside 18 months. If the neighborhood your nightclub needs to exist inside has already decided it doesn't want late-night traffic, no amount of sound baffling and no liquor license attorney changes that math. The community board meeting is not a formality, it is the actual risk assessment. Step back for a second. The economics of nightclubs are genuinely paradoxical. There is almost no legal consumer business with a higher gross margin on its primary product. A bottle of premium vodka costs a nightclub $22 wholesale. That same bottle sells at a VIP table for $650 to $900. That is a markup of between 2,900 and 4,000%. A restaurant marking up its food at equivalent rates would be investigated by someone. A nightclub that doesn't is considered mid-tier. And yet, the majority of nightclubs launched by smart, experienced, well-capitalized operators fail within 3 years. Why? Because the margin is only real while the room is full. A nightclub running at 40% capacity has the exact same fixed costs as a nightclub running at 100%. The DJ still costs the same, the security payroll still hits every 2 weeks, the lease arrives on the first of every month. The math of an empty room is the same math as any other empty room in hospitality. It just arrives faster in a nightclub because everything in the business was priced on the assumption that it would never be empty. The bottle is the margin, the crowd is the product, and the crowd never signed anything. 2 scenarios, real numbers. Scenario 1, $600,000 invested in a mid-size club in Austin, Texas. 400-person capacity, 4 operating nights per week. 12 VIP tables at a $500 average weekend minimum, 12 tables at $300 on weekdays. Annual table minimum revenue, approximately $1.7 million. General admission bar revenue, $800,000. Door cover across operating nights, $200,000. Total annual revenue, $2.7 million. After DJ and entertainment fees, payroll for 35 staff, lease, insurance, liquor license renewal, sound system maintenance, and security contractors, net profit approximately $380,000 per year. Payback just under 2 years. Not glamorous, completely invisible to most investors, and deeply dependent on maintaining exactly the right reputation in a college-heavy market where the crowd moves fast, decides in 48 hours, and forgives almost nothing. Scenario 2. $18 million invested in a Las Vegas mega venue, 2,200-person capacity, 60 VIP tables at a $3,500 average minimum, 4 nights per week, 48 operating weeks per year. Table minimum revenue alone approximately $40 million annually. Add general admission bar revenue, cover charges, and headliner DJ sponsorship activations, total revenue approaches $65 to $80 million in a strong year. After headline DJ fees, the top tier of the market now commands $100,000 to $500,000 per appearance, payroll for 200 staff, casino resort lease percentage and marketing, net profit between $12 and $18 million per year. Add a residency deal where a single artist commits to 50 annual appearances for a guaranteed fee, and suddenly the programming cost is entirely predictable. The marketing writes itself off the artist's existing audience, and the table reservation system fills 6 weeks in advance for every single date on the calendar before a single promotional dollar is spent. Tiesto signed a multi-year residency deal with Hakkasan Group in Las Vegas in 2014, reportedly valued at $30 million across appearances at their properties. That number generated press coverage for months. What generated no coverage at all was what the residency did to their advanced table reservation window, their international guest conversion rate, and their ability to pre-sell VIP minimums to guests planning Las Vegas trips 8 and 10 weeks out, specifically around his scheduled dates. The DJ fee was enormous. The certainty the DJ delivered was worth more than the fee. By the time Hakkasan's parent company was folded into a broader entertainment consolidation, they had built a venue model that generated revenue with the scheduling predictability of a subscription product, packaged as the most exclusive party in the world. The music was never the product. The table was, and the bottle was just the price tag on the certainty that the seat was yours before the night even started.